What follows is a presentation of our research on plants and also seeds, which will fly on board the GEN spacecraft, travel hypersonically, and remain in space for 9 months. You probably ask yourself, what's the goal or aim of that? The aim is to study the effects of increased radiation and microgravity on plant biology. ORION, as it's called, has already launched 23 varieties of Hungarian seeds to orbit on Genesis' debut mission this June aboard the SpaceX transporter 14 Light. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Roland Meszter from the Orion Space Generation Foundation, one of Genesis' earliest customers and research partners.
So, thank you for the invitation, 𝗣𝗁, and this nice conference or mini workshop, and congratulations to the amazing job what you've been doing in the last literally couple of months for sure, but over the year what we've been working together. So we've heard many innovations today, and I think one of the key words what I would like to connect to in addition to innovation is democratization of research, and I will come back to that at the end. But at this point I would like to ask you guys, and please wave your hands, would you like to hear more about biology and more about blockchain technology, decentralized science? So if somebody wants to hear more biology, please hands up. And if more blockchain and decentralized science, then please hands up. Okay, so biology won. Good. So what we would like to do is to provide solution for the future, and mostly when it comes to scarce of food. We know that by 2050 we will need significantly more food, but the Earth's ability to feed the population will be decreasing, so it's not going to be sustainable. So we know the challenges on Earth. I'm not going to go too much detail in that. In this audience will know exactly. But it's, climate change and water scarcity, and of course the rapid population growth. The challenges in space, it's long duration missions, so we need for self-sustaining food production, so we don't have to resupply all the time who are up there. So to ensure food security, we must understand how plants adapt and react to space extreme environments. Why space? Because it's an evolutionary laboratory. So it's an accelerator lab. Whatever extreme environments can happen, that's in space for sure. So all these stress conditions, which are impossible or difficult to reproduce on Earth, so we can study them in space. So these travels, these journeys will reveal changes in germination, in genetics, physiology, and resilience in short. So all the seeds which adapt best to spaceflight conditions may become the plants of the future in space or non-space agriculture. Okay, why seed? You may ask, because that's the most compact form of any living organism with full genetic information and full capacity of adaptability. So it's a true life package, and it's a very compact form. So by sending plant seeds to space, we can learn which one's suitable for space horticulture and which one will be not. And of course, we need to think about biodomes and others, but that's about the future. So as we already heard in the introduction, we had 24 species already spent a couple of hours in a sun-synchronous orbit, and the recovery of this was not complete because we couldn't receive the plant seeds. It was lost at some point. But we learned a lot, and of course, the dice had been rolled. We will relaunch and we will go into the next missions in 2026. So we learned a lot and we come back. So let me just give you a quick video showing what we have done together with 𝗣𝗿𝗁 and his team. Okay, so as you could see on the video, with me, we have 𝗗𝗁𝗺𝗁 and László Borda, the two chiefs of ORION Space Generation Foundation. Please come to us and discuss after the presentations and after this event. If you have any questions, we are here for you to answer. But why we are reflying and why that is good for us that these missions will take longer. So the previous ones were just a couple of hours in space. Now, thanks to the smaller capsule, which are much lighter, therefore can stay in orbit significantly longer, as you have heard today already, up to 9 months, which is actually similar to the travel time to Mars. So it's a relative to what we need to check if those plants will actually survive. So a longer mission means more changes, potentially, more data, what we can learn from. So these targeted biological research with higher sampling frequency will, of course, benefit more from the biological science in general, but of course us especially. So as you... I didn't know where I'm going to get to, so you've heard from 𝗣𝗁 already a lot, and I'm sure you're going to have more after my talk from 𝗣𝗁. But what is important for us, that it will take longer in space, and we can have multiple missions for a relatively reduced cost, which is very important for us. So those seeds which survive has a potential to become a Mars biodome crops in the future. So, of course, we come from Hungary, so we have quite a few focus plants. One of them is grapes, and the other one is red or green pepper. Perhaps I don't have to explain too much, partially because half of the audience is from Hungary, and the other half is, I guess, understand quite a lot about Hungarian cuisine and pepper and grapes. So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but just let me highlight two significant differences. Why grape has a very long generation cycle. Some may say, okay, why do you work with grape? It's not really a primary source of food. But yes, culturally and actually economically, it's a very important plant. It has very versatile use. not only vinegar and of course wine and others, but cosmetics, oils and other things as well. But most importantly, it has a very long breeding and generation cycle, so you have to start early to be able to produce meaningful material for the future. On the other hand, green pepper is quite quick in terms of genetic cycle, and we're working together with chief Hungarian scientists, 𝗗𝗲𝗺𝗁, who you may know him. He's a chief scientist in the HONOR program from Hungary, in the 𝗣𝗿𝗿𝗁, and we are happy to work along with him in a couple of different space, agriculture, subdomains. He's a real international expert. So we focus in on scientific collaborations, not only on the national, but also international levels, with researchers, breeding companies, biotech professionals, and of course, space partnerships we have with ESA, NASA, MELISA, and Galaxis, which I'm going to introduce you in a few seconds, what else we do. So we just started a new scientific model early this year, which is based on blockchain, because we believe that the current scientific publication system and financing system is outdated. So it calls for some innovation. Why? Because the current scientific model is very slow. Publishing research, as you all know, takes sometimes more than a year or even 1.5 years. So it's very slow, inaccessible. Most of the results, which scientists or technologists create, never get published. So that knowledge potentially lost. Unreliable. Data shows that only 30 to 50% of the published studies are actually reproducible. The vast majority is not reproducible, so not very reliable, and really not transparent. So we need a new model, and we work with the SpaceGens program that whatever we come out with the scientific knowledge, we would like to put it on a blockchain, decentralized science arena. And that's where I link with the previous discussions which talked about democratization of information, because this is it. This is democratizing information, and I will tell you how and why. So a very important a couple of important things you need to understand. It's a reproducible and useful knowledge which is real and real time. And since AI is rapidly evolving, we know, like in half a year, imagine what has done to your life, AI. Imagine what is gonna create in the scientific domain. But verified, trustworthy scientific data is key, okay? Because, okay, our generation, we understand what is realistic, but Gen Z, they may gonna get away with any information what they get. So trustworthy, verified information is key. And that's what blockchain about, because the research data and results stored on blockchain is immutable, okay? So whatever you put there, it's gonna stay there forever and you cannot change it. NFTs, and we have one of the partners of 𝗗𝗿𝗁, they actually came from the NFT, the tokenizing situation in sending the pictures to space. So we have a link there as well. But these tokens, these NFTs, represents participation, support, and ownership in research. Basically, what it has, you give to the public a share. Okay, anybody can join to that research. They can get their own small bits. And with smart contracts, we understand it automatically can handle rewarding and data sharing conditions. So it's a very fast and solid way of communicating information. And more importantly, crowdfunding allows anyone to support any scientific projects. So anybody can be part of a discovery and benefit from it. Imagine right now, it's not really the case. So what is this and why is it good? So, as I mentioned, it's transparent, it's very fast, it's open source and metric-based, which is all compared to the traditional science is new and revolutionary. So transparent because whatever you put there is going to stay forever, and anybody can upload information in these platforms. Real-time open data sharing means it's very fast, so rapid publishing within minutes on the blockchain. Community ownership and revenue sharing, which means you can have small bits of community ownership, but small bits of democratized access with funding as well. Of course, it nurtures open international collaborations, and due to traceability, you will have a very highly reliable scoring system. So, to sum up and to make you understand why we are working on all these innovative solutions, because we believe these are forming the future, because 85% of human food comes from plants, so we need to work on plants. In space, this will be close to 100%. Okay, right now, 85% of food's coming from plants in the space. It's almost 100%. As I mentioned, seed is the DNA of life. 𝗗𝗄𝗺, the decentralized science, we believe is the DNA of new style of future or future science. Neither of them is centralized. Both of them is self-organizing. So in my mind, they're very much interlinked, and they're very much helping each other to penetrate for the future. So in my belief, these life and knowledge cross the boundaries of Earth together and goes to space. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.